Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long Term Podcast. I'm your host, Adnan Villa. Today, we have the founder of Silence Your Heart and entrepreneur Dylan Berwick. We will discuss balance in life, the importance of struggles, the role of peer support and family connection, creativity, in regards to content creation in business, and empathy. Everyone, welcome. Also, I'd like to add that this is Silence Your Heart. Look at this. Dylan just gave me this amazing sweatshirt. Beautiful. Enjoy, everyone. Man, this is sick.
Yeah?
Look at this. This is a nice design. Like, how do you get this manufactured?
The clothing itself, like the blanks,
Yeah.
kind of did some YouTube research, figuring out kind of what the best ones out there were, and then I kind of just went on the internet and found ways to, like, most of the wholesaling places you obviously have to order wholesale, but I was able to kind of find one where I could just pay the full price and order a couple different hoodies and determine which ones I was kind of liking the most, and then I ended up somehow kind of finessing a wholesale account.
Okay.
They kind of wanted business licenses and things I didn't really have, but I was able to, talk my way through that, and I got a kind of a wholesale account through this like big Canadian manufacturer kind of people, and then ordered all the hoodies basically.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You started this company, clothing brand, so young, hey?
Yeah,
It's amazing. Were
Started
you always
in high
thinking about it?
The clothing, the clothing kind of happened naturally, I would say. I've always loved the idea of like creating things in general. But when it comes to like actual art and like designing things, I wouldn't say that's my strongest suit. Everything else kind of to do with the business, whether it's like, doing the promotion and filming commercials and all of the like kind of marketing and bringing it to life is what drives me, but definitely the like design part of it is where I kind of get stumped. So when it first happened, I don't even know, it all kind of happened magically, honestly. I'm sure you know Anthony Bodos.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's a really good artist, and he ended up just kind of sketching out a first little design one time when we were thinking of the names and just kind of brainstorming it almost as a joke, kind of. And I kind of liked it. He did like the SYH and kind of like graffiti kind of a look. And I was like, maybe we're onto something here. And then in high school, my like favorite class was like communication technology, where a lot of the projects I was able to almost use this idea as a way to test things out in a way. So when it came to like creating, let's say, like a design and like a sticker in the class, I used like this idea to like kind of finesse it and try it and see how it would look. And then there was like screen printing projects, so then I was actually able to like figure out through school how you turn like a drawing into a digital version and then like get it cut out and then do this whole screen printing process. And then as soon as I saw like the logos on the screen printing sheets and putting them on a hoodie for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. Like just having an idea and then bringing it to life it's awesome. So
The ideas that pop into my head, they're just ideas, and they look so beautiful in your head. Hey, you see the end goal, and you see that it is a possibility. But the thing about that is you need to get started, and you need to be able to find the right pieces, find the right resources to be able to get to getting the sleeves right, getting the sizes, the different types of designs. It's no overnight success.
No.
What you described there was days upon weeks or months, years.
Yeah.
Right? And certainly to create anything, it takes such a great deal of effort.
It does. More than anyone would think.
Yeah. As simple as a clothing brand may be, it's not simple, bro. Like even the podcast itself as well. You think about the audio, you think about the gas, the communication, the energy levels, the questions that are sent, the design, everything.
Yep. Even the thumbnails, how important that is.
Yeah, everything. And it's just starting. That's the best thing that I can just advise people.
And the scariest.
It's so scary.
It's the scariest.
Yeah, just jump. Just do it.
It's so true. It's always easier said than done, but it always pays off. And, even if your full goals of jumping into something doesn't work out, the things you learn from that and the experience of that innately turns into the next thing and the next thing, the next thing, and it shows yourself that you're able to actually do stuff. You know?
I've been so bogged down at times where I engage in a project or I do that thing that scares me and it doesn't end up good. I fail and I put myself in such a great amount of pressure, self-induced.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but then I realize days, weeks, maybe a year later, that moment where I was tested and it was really heavy, actually proved to be the best of times because it taught me, okay, I can get over this thing, and actually I've learned from that failure.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like that's the definition of life.
Yeah.
It's trying things, screwing up, and what you learn from it, because in those moments, that is where you learn the most.
Yeah.
Like always.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it in the moment, but you can really take those lessons and keep it moving on to the next thing. It's so powerful. It really is.
You grow in the discomfort.
You do. You do, man. It's hard to put yourself in discomfort. Especially nowadays, it's pretty easy to be comfortable. It really is.
You just order anything online. You don't have to go outside to really do anything.
No.
You could work from home. You could just call your friends. You don't have to go out and see them. You don't have to go order food to shop to get things come to you.
Exactly.
But what I've seen actually is people that prioritize comfort end up suffering. And that's the same for me. Every time I choose the path of least resistance, I end up with regret. Like, why didn't I just do that hard thing? Whether it be about relationships, whether it be about my diet, whether it be about the gym, whether it be about content creation or just creativity.
Yeah.
But with balance and pleasing people in life and the creation process, how do you balance staying true to your creative vision with meeting what customers want to see?
Yeah, that's sometimes hard, especially starting out. I think I've only done 2 drops, so everything is super kind of still new. I'm still getting a feel for it all. The first time I didn't put a lot of stress on myself when it came to what I think other people would like too much, because I was kind of just doing it for fun. And the second time that I did things, it was like pretty successful the first time. You know, I was able to kind of get it out to friends and their friends, and you know, just spread the word about it all. And then when it came down to like, hey, let's go back to the drawing board, I started really overthinking everything. I started asking so many people's opinions of, do you like this? Do you like that? Do you prefer a simple hoodie? Do you like a busy design on the back? And I found that everything was so 50-50 that you can't please everyone, but at the same time, when you're putting money and trying to create something for people, you want to please everyone, and it's hard. And so something I'm reminding myself now is, if I don't like it, and if I'm not passionate about it, like the first time, when I didn't put too much stress, like if I don't like it, I don't think anyone will like it. Because I think the person selling needs to love what they're selling. And so I'm really trying to like, I keep everyone's opinion, obviously, and I take advice because that's how you get better. But I do gotta remind myself sometimes, like, you're on the right path, like, you're doing it. Stick to what you know, stick to what you like a little bit, and just kind of let it all flow into the same pace. Because, you know, it's hard. It's hard when you care about everyone's opinion. Like, I'm kind of like that. I kind of pretend that I don't, but people's opinion affects you, you know? And you want to create something that everyone will like. That's just not always the case.
You mentioned that at the start it was just for fun, but then it evolved to this thing that actually made some progress and actually caught people's attentions. And at the same time, this passion that you created just for fun ended up being a reflection of who you are and your identity. And
so true.
It made you question, okay, do people like this? Do people not? Are people gonna judge me for this product? And then you go and ask people's opinions, and some of them, okay, this design's not so good, but some of them actually do care, and then it's friends that are giving me constructive criticism. But then you're like, okay, is this actually genuine, or is this person just like trashing me? Okay, okay, and then you get into these like mental battles where it's, okay, I need to prioritize where I need to get the final word, but at the same time, I'm doing it for the customers. Now, is this for me or is this for the customers? Right? And I'm the same way. I started this for fun, and it's gained traction. Now, I'm looking at the views, I'm looking at the likes, I'm looking at the retention rate, and it's just, is this really for me anymore? Like, I still don't know. Like, I'm going to be completely honest, which is because this is one of the virtues of the show, 100%. Of vulnerability. I don't know what I want. Like, no. I'm lost, man, and I want to let it be known that nobody actually knows what they're doing, but we can try.
100%. That's all you can do. And the things that you're learning through this is skills that are going to be valuable to you. And I think you know that. Whether this is the final destination or it's the next thing and the next thing, the things that you're going through and learning about, there's so many different aspects to this podcast, like we were just talking about, like when it comes to every minute detail, that when someone says, oh, anyone could do a podcast, it's true, but it doesn't mean that everyone's going to be good at it. And there's so many little skills that you learn that are going to be so valuable if any of this is kind of the path you want to take. So
even with opening up your own clothing line, think about the advertising. Think about the color of the clothing. How much do you order? Where do you order it from? How do you get it to your friends? You need to get a pitch, and you need to just approach it in a way where it becomes a lifestyle for people rather than just a piece of clothing, right? Because that's how clothing lines succeed. I'm not sure you know that extensively. Like Lululemon, Nike, Just Do It. They're not selling clothes. No. They're selling a lifestyle.
And a feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that. I remember in the first little kind of commercial I made, it was kind of cheesy, but I put in there, like, what does Silence Your Heart mean to you? Because I wanted that. I wanted to not just be clothing, not just my brand. You know, I want it to be a part of everyone and anyone who wants to get involved in any way. You know, I want them to like feel a type of way when they put it on, like, you know, feel the message and feel like they're strong enough to get through the things they're going through. So that was a big thing for me. Yeah.
What does Silence Your Heart mean?
You know, there's so many different things I've thought about it. I think every time I do like a little collection or an idea, I kind of like sprout off of it. Something like when some people think like Silence Your Heart, I feel they think of it kind of in a bad way.
Suppress your emotions, don't let anyone in.
Right? And that's not a good message, but I more mean when you're in a situation, because I think emotion can be one of the most hardest things to deal with. Like when you're consumed with certain emotions, it can be hard to like stop them.
This girl just rejected me, man.
Really?
Yesterday. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I really liked her. And here's what before you get your final word out with Silence Your Heart, based on what I've read, based on the advertising that you've put out that I've read, I think Silence Your Heart to me means you can't trust your emotions fully. Like, sure, it's a good indicator of where you're headed and the decisions you're going to make. But if you act on it, you're going to hurt people. You're going to give in to that anger and call your friend a name or your family member. You're going to hurt people. Exactly. So by taking that time to reflect, to silence your heart and look within, it's not suppressing. No. You're actually letting it out and feeling it thoroughly. Like the girl yesterday, she messaged me before my brother came on stage. She's like, hey, Advin, I actually don't feel romantically the same. I don't feel the same way. And you know, I asked her out like a couple weeks back. She said yes, but then we went out with some friends this week, and I thought it was good. I thought we had a good connection, but I guess not. And it's just like my heart was just like there, man. And I just it's like it's the worst type of feeling. But I didn't want to ruin my brother's grad. Like I didn't want to like I just wanted to
Get too
feel the
consumed.
emotions.
Yeah.
What's up?
You didn't want to get too consumed by the
Yeah.
emotions.
Because it is a beautiful day. The weather was all right.
Mhm.
My brother was graduating. I had my family with us. Everybody was just happy. So I'm not gonna let it be about me.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
sorry, to go on with silence your heart. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
I think just to close that out, like my dad's always told me this. A lot of times, more so I'd say romantically, emotionally, but in any sort of emotional way, he always says a lot of times you have blinders on, and it's not till that situation may end or something happens where you're finally able to like take those blinders off and realize kind of wow, like the way that I was acting, that wasn't me, you know. And so it's kind of like being able to understand the emotion, but also use your head sometimes, and not just let those emotions consume you. Like that was the biggest thing growing up. I let emotions consume me too much, and sometimes you just got to take a step back, use your brain, just and to tie in kind of like I think a lot of people like when I originally said it like silence your heart, like they think like oh like kill yourself, like stuff like that. Like it did seem kind of like deep and dark and whatever, but it's not that. And this drop, I'm finally kind of getting some ideas. I really was thinking about it. I was actually talking to Mauricio and Kriska the other day, and I kind of came to the conclusion that like, okay, if you're going through a hard time like that, and you are able to like silence your heart and sometimes like suppress those emotions, once you get through that phase, now what? Right? You don't want to stay like that forever. You need to be able to kind of close that chapter and then allow yourself to open up the next chapter, right? So I think the only way to like combat those moments of silencing your heart is again with love. And so that's what this next one I want to promote is like being able to like silence your heart and close those emotions when you need to, when you need to, because there's a lot of times where people do need to, sit down and be like, whoa, okay. But once you're able to kind of close that chapter, I also really want to promote the idea that once you do that, that next chapter opens. And I think that's kind of the whole process. Being able to slow down, take everything for what it is, but still be able to be open and move on to the next phase of your life, whatever scenario that might be. So that's kind of what I'm on right now.
Feel it out. You ensure that hurt, you feel it fully.
Yeah.
But then we have to move on. We have to ensure we derive lessons from the hurt, the pain, the suffering, and you should add another meaning, maybe another shirt, because then chapter 1 maybe silence your heart. Okay? Now it's liberate your heart or something.
Yeah. That kind of idea. Yeah.
Cast out your emotions, like something.
Exactly.
Definitely, I love what you've done with this message, and
Appreciate you.
yeah, it's a great message.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me, just the person I am, because I'm not super artistic, like I said, I have this like those ideas, but I always find it hard to create like a visual to like represent such like a vast meaning. You know what I mean? Like it's such like a hard thing to do in a way. Like to really sit down and be like, hey, I understand what I'm trying to go for here. How do I put that on a hoodie? You know what I mean? Like that's where the hard parts of it come,
How do I align my vision just in my head with a physical reality? That's what I struggle with.
Same.
Because I have all these emotions that I'm feeling. I have all these things that I want to tell people, but how do they make them truly understand? Because you can say, hey, you're sad, happy, ecstatic, but it's still not 100% of like what they just kind of go based on their experience. But to add a message on there and to be able to add art, be able to post pictures and design a lifestyle or a method of communication that extends your idea, because it's another branch of yourself. Like this is your baby, bro. Like, I love the shirt, man. Thank you again to Dylan.
Got you. Have to show some love.
Yeah, this is you.
Yeah.
This isn't just a business endeavor. It's not. You're not doing it for money. This is an extension of yourself. So this is how you think, right? So this is in a reality.
It's so true. Yeah, it's almost like a projection of my brain in a way, which is kind of cool. Yeah, you're so right. And there's so much like you said, non-monetary value from doing stuff, and same for you with this. There's so many little moments where people say this and say that and like encourage you that it's just so motivating. Like there's still times where like obviously this is such a small thing, but I'll have like one of my friends say, "Oh, I was out here and someone complimented my hoodie," and I'm like, how often do people really do that? You know what I mean? So like the fact that like people like still say that to me and like, oh, I went to my family's event and my cousins were really loving this hoodie. It's just like so random, and it just gives me that extra boost of like, okay, like you gotta get back in there and we gotta keep doing this thing, because those are the moments you live for, It's
awesome. We need that encouragement, because to get to the next level, we need each other. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm constantly supporting people, because I know what it's like to really doubt yourself. I really know what it's like to go, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this. But it's that constant reminder of, okay, you're enough. Okay, you're doing the best that you can. And then when you hear people say, oh, your clothing line, Silence Your Heart, it's great. I love the design. This is cool. You're like, whoa, I'm actually grabbing people's attention. I'm actually getting my word out there. My baby is actually growing.
That's so true. Yeah, it really is my baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had so much support and help along the way. It's not just me, but definitely there's a deep part in me that's like, yeah.
I mean, even looking back, you can remember all the times you guys were at the park, taking pictures, the different backgrounds. Oh, Dylan, let's go over here. This is a good shot. Oh, this. What do you think of this design? And then people will present you with ideas. And when the people that present you ideas have nothing to gain for it, those are the most beautiful. Right? Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so genuine.
It's like, why do you get out of this? Why are you helping me? Why are you supporting me?
Yeah.
Like shouldn't you have better things to do with your time? Yeah.
It just reminds you there's some beautiful people in this world.
There are
as bad as
people.
The news and everything makes everyone seem, and there are bad people out there, but man, if you take a look around, there's some
amazing man. Like that's why I always say beautiful people. Hello, you beautiful people. It's just everyone's beautiful in their own way, and certainly everyone's beautiful, but like we can become really ugly. Like inside, outside, it's rough. But I know like we're all capable of that, but we just have to view life with a different lens. How do you balance enjoying life while also working hard towards your future goals?
That's something I think the last few years that I'm always kind of thinking about, honestly, because I think like you want to get ahead in this life. You don't want to get stuck in the classic, rat race, the paycheck to paycheck. So there's always this feeling of wanting to do more. I can always do more. Why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that? But then at the same time, there's also moments in our life where we do things that if we did that same thing later on in life, it won't be even close to the same experience. You know what I mean? And so it's such a hard balance of, do I dedicate every single day of my life to grinding towards this thing, to build this company, do this, do that? Then am I neglecting my family or neglecting my friends and not cherishing things around me? So it's always such a hard debate. Like, I got a buddy that moved away to Calgary, working like road construction, 12-hour days, makes $100,000 a year, just bought a house. He's my age, right? And we've always had these conversations because he just really wants to get ahead and enjoy his life, which I completely understand. And I always just kind of remind him, like, through these few next years where we're never going to see each other, there is, I think, key life moments and experiences that you may miss out on, and some people value certain things over the other, and so it's completely understandable. But that's always just this like worry in my head of like how do I balance this life? What do you think? How do you balance? Because you are one of the most dedicated, motivational. You get everything done in your day no matter what, and it blows my mind.
Thank you. That means a lot. I'm the same way. I have this struggle, this question of, is it's peace or complacency? So with this podcast, before this, I I'm still happy. I feel like this creating something has actually taken away my peace, and I don't know if it's worth it because I the time that I'm spending here, I could be doing like spending time with my family. I could be studying and getting better at something. And you had mentioned that, okay, what's the right thing? Like, do I build this up? I'm losing time on some of the friends, and this when I'm editing, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. But the way I align my actions is with my values. Like, okay, is this gonna create change? Is this gonna make me feel fulfilled? That's one thing. It's just, and I ask myself that every time I go for a run or when I start a podcast with someone, when I select the people that I want on the show. Does this person align with making this world a better place? And kind of the way I've operated my psyche is just, I want to treat everyone as kind as possible. I want to get their message out there, and it's not just about me. When it's about me, man, like, I'm miserable. When I just go, okay, this is how I'm gonna be rich. This is how I'm gonna get ahead. This is gonna be in. Props to people that do become millionaires at our age and get really ahead. But I know for a fact that if I thought about myself, and I've had opportunities where I can make $100,000 at this X job, and I've known friends who go to the oil fields and get ahead. Wealth is not everything, bro. The moments we have, like I was with my family yesterday, we were just having a great time. Can't buy that with money. The time that you spend with these people, the conversations, that feeling of fulfillment, can't take that away. And I always think about old people, like what they have to say, like, on their deathbeds. And a lot of them say, I should have taken more risks. I should have spent more time with my family. None of them say, I wish I worked more.
No.
But does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree. Completely agree.
The role of peer and family support. In what ways do your family and friends provide ongoing encouragement and motivation?
That I must say I'm extremely grateful. First and foremost, definitely grateful with all this. Like I don't even have to preface this, but I keep saying it's such a small thing because I do feel it is. Like I won't lie, I do try to like have big dreams because I do think if you don't keep any that belief alive, you won't even reach close to it. And so sometimes I kind of not like get down on myself for what I'm doing because I do think what I'm doing is really cool. I think it's just maybe in my mind I just know I can keep doing more, but it's all a part of the process. So the family and the friends, it's amazing. Like my family is so supportive. They think it's so cool. Like even just going to hang out with my group of friends and I'll walk in and I'll see two of them wearing the hoodie. It just puts a smile on my face. It just makes me like they went to go out today and they picked that one to put on today to go out. Just like those little moments, it just reminds me like this is really cool. I got something here. I gotta keep going.
Picture a different reality where that wasn't the case. They didn't support you in anything you did. They trashed your idea. They didn't believe in what you believed in. I've talked to some people, and it seems like it's like that for some people. I am also very grateful for the friends and family that uplift me. And while it's not perfect, because we go into arguments sometimes and disagreements, the love is there. I feel connected. And that's why I'm always trying to, this idea of long term that everybody's got their niche in life, everybody's got their role. I want everyone to know that, hey, okay, even if you don't have anyone supporting you, you can cultivate that. There is possibility. And to be thankful for what you do have, even if it's just not friends and family that support you. You have you at the end of the day. But it's great that everyone just puts on their hoodie, man.
Right,
just,
I know.
Hey, look at this. Just that when you're having a bad day, hey, that probably just puts you back, sobers you out.
100%. And I was just thinking, like, I'm trying to be honest with myself. Like, if that were the case, and I didn't have any of the support, and everyone thought what I was doing was dumb, I'm trying to like think in my brain. Do I have it in me to keep going?
You do.
You think? I gotta be more confident in that way sometimes because
you're a fighter, man. I mean, you starting the business in the first place, you've already told yourself you couldn't do it many times. Who's gonna buy this? Who's gonna want to be a part of this? And you had mentioned that okay, it is small, bro. Sherwood Park's massive, man. We got an entire market here, bro.
That's true. That is true, bro. It is honestly true.
Yeah. How do you balance taking advice from family and peers while staying true to your own vision?
That I think that's kind of what we talked about at the very start a little bit, like just kind of trying to balance what I like and what I see it as versus kind of trying to please the crowd, because like, to be honest, putting thousands of dollars into buying boxes of blank hoodies to like hope that people buy them is stressful, right? Like, so you definitely want to like have an idea of what people like and don't like, because that is definitely the most stressful part. And I think with the small clothing brand kind of issues, when it comes to like ordering actual sizing and ordering like how many to order and that kind of stuff, I think with a lot of the brands, when they're a little bit more popular and they have everything kind of set up, they kind of do it on like a pre-order kind of a basis, where you kind of order, or will ship in 3 weeks. They have their place that's going to print their stuff. Then they get the manufacturer to print what they exactly need, ship it out. But with this, because it's such a learning process with the designs, how everything comes out, and that process takes a long time, especially without a team, I just know that I can't really justify like a pre-order kind of a system, and it's not popular enough yet. And like through selling it, that's how I keep spreading it, right? So it's hard. You kind of have my hands tied in that way, because I'm sort of guessing, okay, should I get this many in this size and this size, and which color are people gonna prefer? And you're always kind of left with some, I ordered a couple too many of triple XLs that I thought certain people would like, but it doesn't fit them. And like that part of it can be a bit of a struggle when it comes to actually knowing, okay, like when it gets down to the nitty gritty of how, like, what do I order, what do I do, blah, 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 it can get tough with a small business for sure. So just a learning process. I kind of take every single time. The more you do it, the more you understand what kind of people like, the sizing, the colors, the things that makes it a little easier, and the actual process of making them gets easier, especially when you're working with the same people. Like my buddy's mom runs a printing shop, and I do it with her. And even with this design, the original design I had actually was like more filled in with like a rectangle behind it. And when we went to do a bunch of test prints, it was just with how thick the cotton was and how much threading there was to embroider, it just completely scrunched it. And we tried 3 different kind of variations, and every time it just didn't work. And so then I had to go back to the drawing board and kind of change up the logo so it actually works in the reality of making it. So if I didn't have sort of a process to trial and error things, and I just kind of sent it out to China to do, I would have been hooped. You know what I mean? It would have never showed up how I wanted it to. And I'm such like a perfectionist in the sense that I don't want anyone wearing or buying something that I don't think is perfect. You know what I mean? So it's so like it sucks in the beginning to learn all these things and go through all this stuff, but I think every time I'm just getting more wise on how to do things, and it just gets easier every time. So
imagine yourself on day one. You knew nothing. You knew nothing about how to start a business. You knew nothing about what even the meaning, because it's constantly evolving, and these things that you've done, you try, then you get back up, and you may fail, and then you try again, and you try again and again and again and again, and you do not give up. Like that's the one thing that I respect.
I appreciate that.
Just you go through all these emotions, and you do not let that negativity, because we are our own the biggest enemies.
100%.
Yeah, we hold ourselves back massively.
Could not agree more.
And how long has the company been around?
I think the first idea is probably was like grade 10, maybe. Kind of really started trying it out. So it's been a long time, and over these years, I'm kind of disappointed. I've only done it twice. I think like I said, I'm a little bit too perfect with things. Like I kind of overthink and doubt myself, especially in the design process. Like the amount of different designs and different variations on my computer is just insane that it will never probably come to life. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's been a long time. But I think everything happens for a reason when things are meant to happen. And I think now in my life, every like kind of little pillar I'm doing, although I don't know where anything's going, I I'm trusting that I'm doing the right steps for the most part. There's always things I want to improve, but even with my job and trying out school and my own creative ventures, I think all of these things I hope will blend into the perfect mix of what the thing will be in the end. You know?
Beautiful, man. That's awesome. Um, Creativity, content creation, and business.
Mm-hmm.
How do you cultivate creativity, and what strategies do you use to keep the content fresh and engaging for audience?
Great question. When it comes to the actual SYH stuff, I think it's kind of like just a stepping stone process. Once I kind of get the initial designs down and the message and the meaning, I just try to kind of cultivate the visual for it all. So I think like the first time and the second time, they're completely different. The first one was kind of all black, a little bit more like a completely different vibe than this one is, right? So I think it's just getting the right people, and honestly, a lot of it is just winging it when it comes to the marketing. It really is. I go out with some friends and to a location that I think would look nice, and some of it just honestly really happens naturally. Like you can't really. The best things happen naturally. Like even if you plan something will change and it works out for the better. I think it's just when it comes to this stuff, it's all just been go with the gut, try it out, take everything I got, mash it together, and have the finished product. And I just like trying and exploring creatively, especially with the clothing for sure.
You give yourself enough time, the good things will come.
Mm-hmm.
You force it, and you end up with this thing you're not happy about.
Mm-hmm.
And I approach with relationships and with everything that I do, I try to do it as organically as possible. Because I don't like dating apps, man. I don't respect it at all. I don't think it's good for society.
No, I agree.
From that perspective, just even like being given money, being given these things that you didn't work for, right? It has to happen for you organically, and you have to trust the process to be able to attain these things that are worth having, because you won't be proud of it at the end of the day.
It's so true.
You need to have if it isn't organic, you need to actually be about you though, something you believe in, a system in place.
Mm-hmm.
And what role does your personal creative process play in the business decisions and content creation for Silence Your Heart?
Sorry, say that again?
What role does your personal creative process play in the business decisions and content creation for Silence Your Heart?
Honestly, most of the time, when it comes to having a finished product, I don't really even know how I get there a lot of times. And it's kind of weird to say, because I should be kind of more planned out and prepared. But I do think when it comes to creative stuff, sure, like when it comes to the business side, I think I'm learning a lot about it. And I think that's been a learning curve to understand like how all of the steps work into getting this here. But when it comes to creatively, there's so many moments where just the right thing just sparks me, and I then kind of go down that path. Like I haven't honestly thought about the next design for a little while now, and like I said, I just chatted with Jacob and Priska the other night for like half an hour before we left, and just like the little bit of like passion that they had and the ideas that they were throwing at me, it just sometimes it all just comes together. Like I have all these kind of things in my brain, and it'll just take these certain moments to kind of bring it all together. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know I'm on the right place, because sometimes I don't think I am when I'm so scattered. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I do just trust my gut and let things unfold sometimes when it comes to creative stuff, because I think when you force it, it's not as beautiful as when things happen naturally, which can be hard, because even the first time I did this, it really did happen pretty naturally. So then I was struggling when I went to be like, okay, how do I do this again? But now I've kind of gotten over that hump, and I think I'm a little more knowledgeable and confident, and trusting the instinct and trusting what's going on. So I don't even know if that answered the question.
Your creative process is to be able to go about your day, talk about your friends, get their ideas, and maybe you're just going on a walk. These ideas pop up, and this another idea pops up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when you wake up from just a random night,
In the
another
shower.
idea pops up. In the shower, as you're talking to your mom, dad, and then you take this one idea and you connect it with the other idea. Next thing you know, you have a design. Next thing you know, you have a time and place where you're gonna go do it, and then you have this idea that sinks in with this other idea that you thought of a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't have a playbook for that.
No.
And that's kind of where you have to really trust the process, and instead of beating down yourself of not having this thing ready yet, and just to have some patience, to silence your heart a little bit, and trust yourself, trust the process, and live your life. Because at the end of the day, this isn't your life. Sure, it's something that you created, but you got to think about relationships too. You got to think about your diet, your health, your relationships with people, your fulfillment. It's more than just, because I feel like some people too, they get one idea and they make that their entire identity, and as soon as that's taken away, they got nothing. Like I've been guilty of that this month. I see the numbers drop in the listeners, and I see how people aren't talking about it as much. Guests aren't as hyped, and I go, okay, it's great. I've created this thing. This isn't me. Okay, it's me, but it doesn't define me.
Yeah.
Like I am me. I'm Advin. You're Dylan. I'm sure you're the same. Where the company takes a hit, you take a hit.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like
it's not
us.
our babies.
Yeah, it's your baby, right? And I think it's just I don't have a child, but I think I'd kind of compare it to that. Yeah.
Or maybe even like watering a plant.
Yeah.
When it comes to like content for you, I'm curious. Like, have you always, like, growing up, did you watch like a lot of YouTube? Were you kind of obsessed with that idea that kind of stuff is possible? Like, have you always had that kind of battle, maybe, or like not battle, but like I know for me, like I've always seen this stuff and I know I could do certain things. I just don't jump when I know there's like something burning in me that's like every time I watch certain things, I'm like, oh, why am I not doing this?
There's the possibility as a kid in my head of me being a YouTuber, me streaming on Twitch, I was really into guitar, singing. I wanted to put myself out there. But I told myself that I could always be successful, but I never did it. I think it was because I was scared, and it was a false confidence where I told myself, oh, I could be like Nigahiga, Smosh, Jack, Septiceye, PewDiePie. I just don't try, right? And I was the type of kid I did all right in school, but I'd get a bad mark. I could have tried. There's so many kids that follow that narrative, and I did. Like, people say that ironically. Oh, that person just got a good grade because they tried. Okay, why didn't you try? And I realize that now, where I could have been looking back, if I had just started when I was like 12, grinding like Mr. Beast, I could be a Mr. Beast right now. I could be anything I wanted to. But I was in this insecurity, like false confidence, like narcissistic, like I'm better than these guys. If I put myself out there, if I tried, then I would be really successful. But I always knew that there was a lot of doubt and shame and a lot of struggle in that. So that's why I didn't start, because I knew that I was setting myself up for hurt when I didn't want to feel that pain, because I was going through a lot already in life, and me taking that step to I played Roblox at the time, to make Roblox content and market myself. I didn't want that judgment to add onto my life, so I made this false narrative of, okay, you are already great. You can't, there's no things you need to improve. Just keep going what you're doing. Don't start YouTube. That's for dumb kids. Like, you do great at it. But yeah, does that?
Yeah, 100%. Like, And I think too, I don't know this for sure. I just know this is kind of how I am, and I do think it's an excuse, and it's something that I'm trying to kind of figure out with myself. Is the things that do really make me passionate, because like you said before, when it came to like making money and kind of being almost like in a selfish way, and taking that selfish route sometimes, I think you maybe playing the guitar on YouTube, you might have maybe felt like that you think you're this amazing musician, or like it's not maybe your full passion, and that's why it was maybe hard to kind of really dive into it. Whereas like maybe something more like this, because you do like helping others and talking to other people, it's not so centered to just you and what you're doing. And I think, at least for me, that would make it easier for me to do something like this. You know what I mean? Than rather just, oh, ooh, woe was me, I'm so good at XYZ. It's something that's more selfless in a way.
For other people.
Yeah, and for
And
exactly.
I have thought about, okay, maybe I am just doing this to up my social status because I'm talking to Dylan Berwick.
Go on.
No, because I'm talking to these people that are successful in their own way.
I don't
like,
think that. Though.
I don't think so. Maybe a part of me. Okay, a part of me
Sure.
feels that okay, I feel connected. I feel like I'm moving up in the world because I'm talking to these people who have things going for them, and I can just ride the train. But then I think about the constant effort. This entire podcast has been very painful. Like,
Yeah.
just even before you got here, I was editing a couple podcasts, and just the things of their syllables and the audio, the frequency, all of it is very painful. And
It's tedious.
think very tedious. And I think I deserve a little bit of ego when it comes to the craft. I think that's just, I put myself, there's too much pressure on myself where it's like, oh man, I can't feel that way because that's so vain. That's not long term. That's that's ugly. That's not what beautiful people do.
Yeah.
But then it's like, we're all human. Like, it's okay to be a little bit, it's selfish sometimes, because you do need that, and you need to be truthful.
Yeah.
That's why I say I want everyone's story. Like, I want to be able to do it for other people. But there's that side of me that wants to be cherished, that wants to be looked up to, admired. Like, even for guitar, I realized this later on. I didn't like practicing. I didn't like necessarily singing. I still do kind of, but I really liked wowing people. Just, whoa, like, you can sing, like, oh, you can play guitar. And so I realized later on that that was not a very fulfilling experience and endeavor that I should take a route. Now I enjoy the progress, and I enjoy the whole editing process. But a lot of the time, even in school, when I got good grades, I wanted to show people, oh, I did it for them, man. Like, I never did it for me. Like, I did it for the validation of others.
Yeah.
And it's just that struggle where I still don't know if this is the right thing. Okay, should I be doing it for them? Just based on what I felt, based on the experiences that I felt in life, it's not a good paradigm to live your life that way, where you do things for yourself and it's better to do it for other people. But I could very well be wrong. There's people that operate in other ways and who are extremely happy when everything is just self-righteous.
I think when it comes to this podcast, though, I think if you weren't the type of person that enjoyed, talking to others, and I think educating yourself through other people and experiencing, because I think life is all about learning and experience and all that stuff. So I think if that wasn't you internally, and you weren't genuinely like passionate about that, you wouldn't even be able to start this. But even if there is a part of you that's like, I do want to build this up, for whether it's the monetary or just like, I think honestly, like, being like an influencer, as bad as like some of them are, that is like one of the most privileged like scenarios that someone could be in, because that gives you the ability to do anything you want, good or bad. That's why it's dangerous. But I don't think it's wrong for part of you to want to build up that name and have a little bit of sense of freedom to try anything you want to try in any kind of space you want to do. And you might like kind of get on yourself like, oh, am I doing it for selfish reasons? But through talking with someone, yes, you're like learning and maybe helping that person or helping you. But by putting it out there to the world, the people watching are then, that's just an enormous amount of people that are able to listen to you, listen to the other person, and learn and educate and become a better person. So there'll always be, I think, some selfish parts in it, but I think you wouldn't be able to do any of this remotely or as good as you are if you weren't genuine and true to what you're doing, I think, in my opinion.
Thank you, man. I really needed that.
Gotcha.
Truly, really. You don't know how much I've been how much pressure I've been putting on myself. I needed that, man.
100%.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. It's true.
Thank you so much. I might cry right now. The concept of having dreams and goals mixed with the realities of life, how you create pillars for success and keep doors open to allow good things to happen. What do you think of that?
That's pretty much my life right now. I think, like I was saying before, I think like if I don't keep the idea of like a certain like dream or a certain job or a certain avenue of life, if I don't convince myself that it's could be attainable, I will never even take the first step. But as we know, we still gotta live. You know, we want to move out one day. We need some security in our life. So that's where that big balance comes for me. I think I respect the people that are able to kind of toss everything and jump. I just know that I'm not in a position to jump yet. I haven't learned everything. I don't know everything I need to do, and I haven't found the thing that I'm super passionate about to the core that I know is going to be the thing. But I still keep that idea that that's going to happen. So to kind of justify myself, so I'm not super mad that I'm not, out there doing everything, I'm trying to do secure things in my life that I do think are going to be the pillars and creating opportunities for me. Like my job right now as an example, I'm a digital coordinator doing digital media, but it's for a janitorial facility maintenance supply company, right? So I'm filming demonstrations of floor scrubbers. Now, do I really love filming floor scrubbers? No, but I'm trying to take everything I can from these opportunities of just the whole real life process of how filming and editing and marketing for a different company and thinking about all these things. I'm trying to juice everything out of that I know is going to be important to me. And even with school, I'm not a big school person, but in September I'm going to go into digital media at NAIT. And I know I'm going to learn lots, but the main reason I'm going is to honestly just meet like-minded people and allow opportunities to present themselves. I'm sure I'm not going to like it most days. I'm sure there may be days that I do really enjoy it, but I even told myself in my last job before I was doing anything remotely in the field, I was lifting Coca-Cola pallets all day thinking, how am I ever going to figure out what I want to do in this field if I'm not even remotely putting myself in a scenario to learn or open any door or meet anyone, because I think every opportunity in life happens with meeting people and the right things to happen. So if I'm not at least putting myself in these scenarios in the meantime of me figuring out what I want to do, I'm screwing myself pretty much. So I always have this thing of I know what I want to do, but I don't know what it is yet. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm trying to trust myself that what I'm doing right now is building the kind of foundation to hopefully one day do what I really want to do. So I got to just keep reminding myself.
That's amazing.
Try.
That's a great mindset to have. You don't prioritize money endeavors. You just prioritize wanting to live a fulfilling life and creating something, and instilling that in yourself and finding ways to stay true. It sounds so liberating. And the way you've described that, you've obviously taken a great deal of time to decipher who you are. And you're still so young, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe 21?
21, yep. Just went to Vegas with my dad.
You went to Vegas?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was so good. Lost all my money, but it was so good.
Yeah. I remember when you and the boys would just go to the casino all the time.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So fun, but so bad.
Yeah. Good memories though. We do it while you're young, right?
Yeah. You know what's funny about the gambling stuff?
What's up?
Talking about like little niche things. One of the, like, not saying that this is my dream, but like if I could snap my fingers and be doing anything right now, it'd be a gambling YouTuber.
Yeah.
And it's so bad, but like the setup of that is just so freeing. Like as a degenerate gambler, like being able to like get paid to gamble is just like the dream. But it would not be very fulfilling. But I'd hope that that created some financial freedom to then do something great. But
No, see, you'd be a gambling YouTuber, but you'd be, or whatever, maybe you do it on Twitch,
yeah,
and you'd instill lessons in the gambling. You'd tell people, don't do this,
yeah,
don't do this.
exactly.
And you'd make jokes about it.
Yeah,
And because I know I do see some gambling content,
mm-hmm.
and they are bad people. Like I
No,
see
they are.
some of them are just like, yeah, just check. Like someone say unironically, just yeah, cash in, and just guys, you're just not lucky. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to do this. It's all skill.
Yeah.
And like sending a bad message but I feel like if you were to do it, you'd be enlightened about the consequences, and you'd be grateful for the opportunity to
Mhm.
create content, and this is your job,
Mm-hmm.
but you do it for entertainment.
Mhm. Exactly.
Because I know you do a lot of self-introspection, so why don't you, man? Like maybe $50, like do one YouTube video. I'll film you, bro. Like
Yeah.
let me know if we get like a I don't know if they're licensed, if you have to ask permission to go out with a camera. I would film you, bro.
Yeah?
Let me know. Yeah, we go out
100%.
on a Saturday or something.
That's
I'm
so
free.
cool. Why not,
I'd
dude?
be down. Dude, I'm a whore for content creation right now, dude. I've got like an entire note of just like 100 different ideas.
I
I
love
kid you
that.
not, and just like YouTube titles, and just when I'm at work, I'm doing monotonous work
Mm-hmm.
of just applying decals to metal,
Mm-hmm.
because I work at this company where we just manufacture signs.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of YouTube. I'm thinking of content creation. I'm thinking of how can I make people watch? How can people willingly sit for 5-10 minutes and listen or watch?
Yeah, gears are always turning.
Yeah.
You need that though, because if you don't have, like, sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, but if you don't have those gears turning all the time, you will just stay complacent.
Yeah.
And I don't think you probably want to put decals on signs the rest of your life, and I know that. So if you didn't have your brain working all day, yeah, you wouldn't be able to take those next steps and do what you want. So.
You probably felt that when you're loading up those Coke bottles and just lifting out those heavy boxes, right?
100%.
It sucks your soul, bro.
It does.
Like
It does.
after the job, you do not feel great.
No.
Like sure that you feel good that it's done.
You might have done a good job at
Yeah.
what you're doing,
Yeah.
but when you know you have potential to be doing something so much different, why am I
Yeah.
wasting this?
Yeah. It's like, why am I here?
Mhm.
Why? And you keep asking that question of like, is this me? You look in the mirror and you go, is this Dylan Berwick?
Mhm.
Is this just lifting boxes all day? You're like, no, I need to change something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I escaped that. I will say one last thing about content that I heard the other day that I think it might be it's stuck in my brain, so I'm sure it'll stick in yours. I forget how exactly it was said, but he said, like, if someone told you could get free lottery tickets, how many would you take a day?
Million.
Exactly. So he said that treating content is like a lottery ticket. It takes the right idea, the right video. It could be a 7-second video, it could be an hour podcast. It doesn't matter what that piece of content is. It's almost like throwing it in a lottery machine, because it just takes one. And if we can do that for free every day, no matter what, that's just on us. You could be throwing stuff out there waiting for the right one to hit, but a lot of us, and I myself included, I don't do that. And I know I should be, because it's so true. It takes one thing to just spark, and all of a sudden, boom, now you're on the right path. So, just a little thing, man.
You're very wise, man. You're very wise. I
You're
respect
wise,
that.
right?
I've learned just the way you communicate really aligns with your values, and I can tell not a lot of people can do it, but when you're thinking something, it can really align with how you communicate it.
Mhm.
And that's something I've struggled with, because I've stuttered and I want to say something to other people to extend the message, but that's what I'm working on right now.
Mhm.
And you seem to have developed your literacy, and you're very articulate, and you can take an idea and just simplify it and let other people in. That's probably what you've learned with Silence Your Heart. I'm sure you've done a lot of sales pitches on just how people adopt this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, bro.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm very simplistic talker, I'd say.
I don't think it's simplistic, man. Shakespeare says brevity is the wits of the soul. Keep everything brief, and if people understand it, that's power. That is true power. When you can tell people, okay, this coffee is just terrific. It's making my my energy levels skyrocket and we can grab people's attention. Doesn't matter how brief or how long it is or how brief. When you're straight to the point, that's how you grab people's attention. Like Steve Jobs, look at his talks, and, Martin Luther King, like those great speakers or those great talkers to be able to change the world. They were great at their craft of extending the message. That's something you should think about too with like Silence Your Heart, is how can you get up on a stage? How can you go to a group of people, 10 people, just approach people, tell them, hey, this is what it means. Prepare a structure. Like, I know you don't like maybe preparing, but like this would be something to actually prepare for, a script, and not make it too structured, where it's just you touch on people's like emotions and you touch on what they're going through, and you just go and do that 100 times per day. Imagine like groups of people. Morgan Early, she's been on here many times. She hosts like market meetings.
Oh, sweet.
So you should definitely, we'll all have to get together sometime and
100%, bro.
Yeah, and definitely extend the message too, because she's going through the same thing too with her company Printed Fit.
Okay.
And
what's she doing?
She's doing like yoga stuff or like leggings. It's all for girls, but I really support her. I think she's doing a great job. Just like workout stuff.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, you gotta respect literally anyone doing it. Like, so many people, you could take like even celebrities. Like, I'm just under the opinion, like, I don't know what's an example, like a Jake Paul, let's say. Like, there is so many things to like hate on him for, but like when you're someone who like knows that they're also gonna put themselves out there, you just have like a different respect for like going after it and getting stuff done and accomplishing it. And like someone like that, like they're kind of playing a character. Like, I've always grown up watching the YouTube, and what I've learned is like you need people to talk about you. You need some of the controversy, and that's kind of the bad side to that whole world. But when you're instead of being like an actor in a show, when you are the show and you're kind of playing this slightly different role of yourself, the people watching don't know who that person really is, because they might turn that camera off and not be who they were in that video, but people think that that's them, so they hate on them. And so I don't know, it's just this concept of all that stuff of like just taking everything with a grain of salt and just like respecting anyone out there doing it, you know, building stuff and creating and putting themselves out there, because everyone that's probably hating on them would never do that. They would never put themselves out there, you know?
I have this visual in my head of the people that do help you succeed, whether it be in the clothing line, business, YouTube, content creation. The people that, when you're hanging off a cliff, they're the people that are successful, the people that have their stuff together, that have a good family, that want the world to succeed and want everybody around them to be uplifted. They're the ones that pull you up. The people that have nothing going for them, they're the ones commenting as a private account with the black screen, just hating, just wanting them to fall. They're the ones hanging by your leg, stabbing your calves, wanting you to fall with them.
Exactly.
And maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they just think that's like a great idea to use their time. But man, honestly, for all the stuff that Jake Paul's done, I respect the hustle, bro. Like, he's successful.
He's so successful.
Bro, who do you know that can take that much hate and still keep going?
Exactly.
Bro, if I looked at some of these comments, and even when I talk to people in Sherwood Park, Jake Paul, like 90% of people will tell you they don't like Jake Paul.
100%.
Bro, and you know what? I respect Jake Paul.
I do too. I'll say it.
Yeah,
I
I'll
don't
say
care.
it. Maybe he may not have great values. Okay?
Sure.
He may
Yeah.
not be the greatest person,
Mhm.
but he puts in the work, bro.
Puts in
Nobody
the
can go up, get up from their bed every day and go, "Hey guys, it's Jake Paul," like,
Mhm.
and just start drama. That's probably a lot of effort, just a lot of conflict, and the creation side of things. He's still, a lot of stress, and he's still able to stand and be confident.
Mhm.
When I know for me, if somebody was giving me that, hey, the world, I'd be like, guys, please calm down, I'm gonna cry.
Seriously.
He never did that.
No.
Right?
And to grow up on camera, right? Like I think from the days of I'm Jake Paul to what he's doing now, he's so different. He's mature, but everyone has just seen it happen, and so a lot of people can't let go of someone's old self and the person they are today. And I just think he's taken what he's been given, and a lot of, like, even Logan too. They're so successful. They're such good marketers. Like they are literally a business marketing genius duo, because they trick everybody into talking and thinking and da 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 when they're doing all this on purpose, right? Like you get a little chance on Disney and you make the vlogs to get your name out there, and you're being cringe and you're being an idiot and doing all the flashy things. But then once he got to a position of, okay, I can kind of cut all this out, now he's, he does that, YouTuber boxing, then he creates his own promotion company, and he's like the master of all this stuff and creating these fights, and the first Netflix fight live, like all these things just happen because he's making them happen. And so I can't hate. I literally can't hate on anyone doing that stuff. I may not agree and like everything, but I can't hate on it.
Because you understand the work that it puts.
Exactly.
It reminds me of those people that give a ruckus and just give the employees that work at a fast food restaurant such a hard time.
Uh-huh.
They've never worked a day in their lives in fast food or retail. They don't know what it's like for a customer to show up 2 minutes before closing, or to just slam the table if they don't get something right, call you names, because they've never been there. But for us to actually like understand others, we need to immerse ourselves. And while it's great, I can sympathize with those people that are suffering under a certain ailment or condition that I've never experienced. When you go through the same thing, you get it. Like those guys have probably experienced such a great deal of despair and like doubt because of all these haters, trolls,
100%.
but they still kept going.
On the millions of
On the
scale,
millions,
right?
bro.
Like
Yeah.
you gotta have some thick skin. You gotta really be confident in yourself that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or else you crumble.
Yeah.
It's hard,
That
but it is
belief.
motivating.
Yeah. Empathy.
Beautiful.
In what ways do you incorporate empathy into your relationships?
I think, well, thankfully, I've always been a pretty empathetic person. I think that's to do with like my parents and the life that I've lived. I have the privilege to kind of be empathetic. But again, with being an empathetic person, I have empathy for others who haven't had any teachings and a similar life experience to me. Empathy is a tough thing. I think I am a really empathetic person, and sometimes that can suck. It can be so amazing, but sometimes it really can suck, because sometimes you're left like not knowing what to do a lot of times. You're an empathetic person, I'm assuming. Very. What would you say, like, when someone's not an empathetic person, like, would you attest that to what I said? Mostly just life experience, not like willing to open up. Like, what do you think makes a non-empathetic person, in your opinion?
A person that's had everything go right for them.
Okay. Yeah.
The times where I've been tested, the times where I was dealing with these negative thoughts, somebody was mean to me, the people marginalized me based on the things that I said, or just maybe it had nothing to do with what I've said, just on how I looked and maybe the color of my skin. It made me feel some type of way. And by being in that spot, I know what it's like for other people, and then being anxious, being doubtful of my actions, I know what it's like. And certainly maybe I'm still pretty young, I'm 24. I don't fully know to the extent that some of these people are feeling, because maybe they have cancer, maybe have diabetes. But some people can take that though, and they can play the victim role, where why empathize? I'm the victim of this all. And certainly I've been in that thinking too. And it's miserable. The people that I see that are angry, that are shouting at the top of their lungs if their McDonald's orders is late, one thing goes wrong, they're putting up the middle finger in traffic, they're slamming the steering wheel.
It's miserable.
Bro, I feel that. Like I know what it's like. Like I've been there. I've been that guy. So
I think after like experiencing all those things, like being, like I'll just generalize it as like being hated on in any which way. It's something to say about like your character being able to like take that and be like, I don't want anyone else to feel that way. But I do think there's a lot of people that aren't able to do that. And they think, well, I was treated like this, so why shouldn't I treat someone else the same way? So there's like that divide of like, I don't know what switch gets flipped, but it's either you take it and you're like, I never want anyone to feel that way, I'm going to be an amazing person to everyone I meet, or I hate everyone because I'm miserable and people are mean to me, so why should I be nice to them? So I don't know what happens in each person. I think some people maybe are, like for me, I feel I can put myself in someone's shoes, like without ever fully feeling what they're feeling. For some reason, I can really do my best to get as close as I can. Whereas I don't think a lot of people just don't have that in them, and they don't want to, almost. I don't know.
Well, it's also something that you need to be continuously sharpening, because, like I said earlier, the times where I think too much about myself, it is miserable, because I feel that I'm going through this all alone. I think empathy, in a way, actually liberates me. But then again, I've also been in situations where empathy has been my downfall, where I'm feeling too much and I'm thinking about that person and, oh, how can I help? And am I doing enough? Am I doing this? It's all about them. I don't really know what the right course of action is for every situation. All I know is, for the most part, it's better to empathize than not.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's way better. Like, if you could choose a person that is empathetic versus not, you're gonna be friends with the empathetic person, because that is a true friend.
100%.
That is how we create relationships that work, that thrive. A person that, oh, hey, Dylan, like I'm experiencing this, I'm suffering with this breakup, with this divorce, job loss. And if you just look at me with the stone cold eyes, I'm not gonna want to be around you, right? So if anything too, the people that can empathize end up not making any friends, and they're like shooting themselves in the foot.
So true. It's so true. I think one thing I like, it might have happened, like I think I saw it in like a show. I don't really remember how it clicked in my brain, but I realized the importance of listening. And like, it sounds so dumb because everyone listens to everybody, but
it's not dumb at all,
but
dude.
Like, actually listening to someone, like really paying attention to how they're saying things, what they're saying, and like really taking that in, practicing that, I think allows yourself to be able to put yourself in their shoes easier, allows you to have more empathy and give real advice rather than just like you're saying, the kind of the, oh yeah, just listening. A lot of people just listen, but when you like really listen, you can learn so much. Even just looking at the way that they are when they're saying something can tell so much, and that allows you to like be empathetic in a certain way that they need you to be empathetic towards them when it comes to helping, I guess. But
I was talking to this woman, and her son had overdosed in a trap house a couple years back. And as I was listening to her, I felt this enormous pit around my heart, chest area. And I envisioned one of my siblings or one of my loved ones going through the same experience, and I could see this woman's eyes well up, and I could see the amount of pain that she had gone through, and I go, okay, what if that happened to me?
Mhm.
And I actually tried to envision my brother or my sister overdosing. While she was telling me the story, I had a character in my head, or a person that I love, not a character, go through the same exact thing. And that's what's helped me connect fully with her. And I ask her all the time if she's okay, if she's this. And if anything, it kind of liberates me to know that, okay, I'm here for her. She might be here for me. And I'm not expecting it, but I just know that love breeds love. And what I put out into the world, that's what I'm going to get. Positivity breeds positivity.
100%.
And even if you take it from like a reciprocal aspect, yeah, you're doing good. Like you could say that's selfish because, oh, you do good to others, you expect good things to you, and that's the golden rule. Do good to others as you expect to be
Treat it as how you want to be treated, kind
yeah,
of.
yeah.
100%.
Treat how you want to be treated. What would you say to someone who has trouble empathizing with people?
It's a great question. It's so tough. Like, I've always tried to kind of understand how someone can't be empathetic almost. It's tough. Like, for me, it's just an overwhelming, like, feeling. I guess a lot of maybe empathetic people, I think, or non-empathetic, sorry, I might be a little just too wrapped up in their own life sometimes. Like, maybe you can't necessarily blame them, you know? They're going through a lot on their own, and it's hard for them to branch out of their own mess to kind of invite someone else's mess in, and that's understandable, and I think that can be the downfall of being too empathetic, like you said, where you're kind of beating yourself up, being like, oh, I need to help this person, and I know I need to help them, but how do I help them? So it's almost like a double-edged sword, I think, of just having the balance, and it's hard. I don't know. You just gotta try to put yourself in their shoes. Do acts like you just said, of trying to relate it to your own life and get a sense of feeling of how they would feel, because yes, you'll never feel how they're feeling, but it can happen. Anything can happen to you, just the same as the next person that's going through something. So I think a lot of people are just naive, I feel, to consequences, to things going wrong in their life. Like my dad always says, you know, us young people are invincible. We think we're invincible when we're not. And I think it's just being a little more aware of the things going around you and just having a little bit of love for the people around you, man. Like, I don't know.
You mentioned that maybe the lack of empathy could be a source of suffering, where they are so caught up in their own problems, they cannot even think of an opportunity to care for other people because they're in such immense pain that absorbing other people's pain would just make it so unbearable they'd have to end it all. Which is, I've been there too, and you're right about that, because when you're in so much pain, you don't want to connect with other people because you're already in so much pain. But I'd argue that it actually makes you better, because you get to realize that you're not going through this endeavor alone. You're not going through the death of a loved one, depression, anxiety, OCD, job loss, which actually liberates you. So I'd suggest to people that don't have their shit together, go and tell the people that matter, that are genuine, that actually truly care, because there are people that will want you to fall. Okay, and that's this reality of it. That's just the negativity that's in the world, that is also rampant. Go out there and tell people, and if not, maybe fix your life a little bit. There's an opportunity. Okay, maybe you're a little bit overweight. Go and hit the gym and give yourself some compassion. Don't be so hard on yourself. Go out and talk to your family. Start drawing. Content creation. Maybe you can make it your journey.
Yeah. You're so on the money with that.
Yeah.
It's perfectly said. Like, you know, helping others helps you, right? That's not necessarily a selfish thing, I don't feel. I think one of the best feelings in the world is being able to provide and help for someone. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And so someone that is in that place that thinks, oh, I can't even help myself, and I don't want to help myself. Why would anyone else want to? And you're just so wrapped up in your head that, like you said, just opening up and allowing that help, because you can't get through life alone. You can't. And being able to maybe then eventually lend out your hand to your neighbor, that feeling will be so rewarding, you know? And it helps you deal with your own life and thinking all these bad things about yourself, because you start helping others, and it just, again, breeds the positivity, and it can change your life around so easily. But it's just, again, doing it. Like, believing in you, you can do it.
Beautiful. The importance of truly listening to others, the things you'll learn from that too is truly important. And you are such an inspiring individual, and I can see you going far in life.
The same to you, brother.
Thank
of course.
Thank you so much for coming on the Long Term Podcast, bro.
It's been a pleasure. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much for this beautiful sweater, bro. I love this. I love the color, love the size. Dude, this was so comfortable.
Yeah.
I just
nice and cozy inside.
I'm gonna be wearing this a lot, bro. So you better know that I am gonna tell everyone about Silence Your Heart.
Much love.
Okay, and
Much love.
Try to extend the message of Dylan Berwick's narrative and just who you are. And you are a good person, man, and you're capable. Are there any last words you'd like to say?
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. I hope absolutely the best for you. Advin's going to keep killing it. I know he is.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast is going up. Any creative venture this man goes on, he's going to tackle. Yeah. I don't know how you do it. You're like, there's days where I'm like sitting there like I haven't been going to the gym the last few months. Don't know why I fell off. I got to get back on. But I'll look at you, 15K run. Then he went to the Eskimos game. Then he's at the watch party. The next day he's at his family's grad. I'm like, dude, he just doesn't stop for nobody.
Bro, let's hit the gyms one of these days.
Got it.
I'll put you in the accountability.
Let's do it.
Dylan Berwick, everyone. And as always, to all of you watching, listening, there's a place for you in this chaotic world. Keep going, never lose faith, and keep it long term.
Man.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh yeah, dude.
Beauty.
Awesome. I actually got so excited.
Dude, that was good.
Dude, that was amazing, man.